Give you just a little bit of a background. I have Tommy, when I started, Tommy was a precinct official. He in Meta Precinct, and then you were chief judge in the Meta Precinct. Yes, I started in the Board of Elections in 1994, so I'll be 30 years into election this year. I've only been the director since 2007, so whatever that is, I don't remember. 15, 17 years. I've been the director for 17 years at the Board of Elections. When I first started, we had less than 50,000, about 51,000 registered voters. As of today, we have 155,000, just about. 615 registered voters. That is hard to believe. Yes, yes. So, and if you go up to the Archer's Lodge area, the Flowers Plantation area, people are coming in groves. There's more houses, condominiums, things. It's just massive. So in my tenure, I can imagine it's going up to 160, but past that, I probably don't need to work anymore. But anyway, we are very fastly growing, and so we are in very need of polling places for our precincts. And we had, originally, we were at the fire station, and then we moved it from the fire station and we partnered with the school system to let us use the schools. And that was a good thing when we had COVID, because we had to spread out, and using the Meta Gym was a wonderful thing. And starting with this election, we were first told that the schools were not going to be closed that day, that they were going to have, the school was going to be open, and there's no way that you can conduct an election with the school being open. For myself, security reasons, it's just not a doable thing. Plus, it upsets the students, the teachers, the principals. They don't know where to park the buses. The voters coming in don't know where they need to park or anything else. So Sonny had reached out to me probably a year ago. It was probably called and said that if we ever wanted to consider using polling place, that the church might be a place that we could come to. So I called Sonny back in November, something like that, and scheduled and met with him and your pastor in December to look at your facility and to see about its usefulness for us to use as a polling place. And yes, I liked it. And so I have, Tommy and the pastor had some concerns. Sonny and the pastor had some concerns about some of the things that that might happen, and thought that people want to ask some questions about it. So I am here tonight to do that, but I'm also here to tell you about some election changes. So I'm going to do the election changes first. So I'm going to ask Ashley to come up. The biggest thing that's changed in election is our photo ID. So y'all did not have an election in the county. It was all in the municipal elections. So in 2023, during the municipal elections, that is the first time that you would have to vote, that you would have to present a photo ID. So I'm going to actually tell you about the photo ID.
So to vote in any election going forward, you will be required to show a photo ID. Most people are just going to show their driver's license. We are strictly looking at the picture and to make sure the name resembles what we have in our database and the expiration date. People who are 65 and older can use an expired license as long as it was valid on their 65th birthday. So for our precinct officials, we do have a cheat sheet so they don't have to do that math while y'all stand in line to you're welcome. You can use military ID, veteran ID, travel cards, U.S. passport or a passport card. Non-operator IDs are also acceptable forms. There are some student and government IDs that are acceptable, and our precinct officials will have a list of those. To my knowledge, JCC is not on there, and I don't think NC State was on the last one we got. So those are kind of few and far and in between on what was approved. But most people will just show their driver's license. You'll state your name and address just like you normally would, and you'll go on about the voting process.
And if you do not have a photo ID, we do not turn you away. There is an exception form that you can fill out, and you would have to vote a provisional ballot. And a lot of people want to know what a provisional ballot is. I like provisional ballots because nobody is perfect. And sometimes we can make a boo-boo in the office where we may, if a junior and a senior, same name, are registered, and if the senior has died, we have got rid of the junior and not the senior. And Tommy can remember when he was there, if we had made a boo-boo at the office and you came in, your name was not on the rolls, that was it. And they left Mattawet sitting here, and I get it. So a provisional ballot is a way for a voter to vote if a mistake has been made at the office. They vote a provisional, and then it is determined by a board, which I have a 5-member board, that will determine whether or not that vote should count or not. We have a lot of people coming in from different counties that think that they registered, and it's just like a little warm fuzzy that you want everybody to get to be not just say, look, if you can just vote this provisional, this will get you registered for the election next time. So I do like a provisional ballot. I think down here in Meta you have like 1,800 registered voters. Yes, and we do have early voting sites, but a lot of the Meta people do not drive to Smithfield, and that'd be your or Benson. Benson is not open this election, so this primary election that we're in now, it will be March the 5th will be the primary, and then the general election, the presidential election, will be November the 5th. But we will have early voting sites in the general election, and Benson would be your best bet if you wanted to vote early. A lot of people don't like early voting. I love early voting because as many people that are registered now in Johnston County that come out and vote, our polling places could not hold. We could not vote as many people that show up on election day. And for instance, in 2020, in the the general election, 26,000 people voted by mail. And then I think we had 36 or 40, I don't remember, there were 76,000 people that voted early. So 50,000 of those people voted early. The rest of the people voted on election day. There is no way, and I think we had like a 60 or 70% turnout. So there's no way we could have handled 70,000 voters or more on election day. That's why early voting is popular in most of the counties that in Johnston County, most of the counties in North Carolina. Not a lot of, some states do not offer that, but I'm glad that this state does offer that for the voting process. There are 36 precincts in Johnston County. We have some precincts that have close to, I don't know, they got a lot, 8,000 or 9,000 registered, yes. And so we tried to get the polling places out of the schools and hook up with the churches, and we've done that. We used to have, I think it was 9 precincts that were located in a school, and just this year I have got them out of I think I'm down to 4 or 5 there's 4 left, 5. So I've got 4 of those out of the 9, 4 of them I have approached churches, and 3 of the churches have said yes, as I'm waiting for y'all to say yes or no. If it's a no, we can go over to the Meta School because we found out school's going to be closed that day. And they're going to be closed in November also. One of the questions I think Sonny had indicated that was a problem is about liability, your question about who is liable. I have given him a letter from our finance director. If anything happens, if anybody gets hurt during the voting process, you are not liable for anything. That person themselves would have to contact the county, and the county is assured up to $250 million. So it would be our responsibility, or the voter's responsibility, to contact the county, and then the county would go through the process of helping them file claims or whatever they needed to file. for any kind of accidents or incidents that would happen. Your carpet, it is a nice looking carpet, and we don't want that to get ruined. If it is raining on that particular day, if we can have mats out there, they can wipe their feet. Any kind of damage on the inside, whether it's scuff marks or the carpet, we will pay the county, the Board of Elections will pay to have any damages whatsoever that's done to the facility. We do, and I had told Sonny and your pastor, we had in East Clayton, we voted Everett's Chapel Church, and they were waiting, and they laid it on the wall and put their foot, so you could see all down their fellowship hall there was foot marks where people had put their foot marks. So we paid to have their fellowship hall painted because it was scuff marks everywhere. So it's not like something happens, we're not going to take care. Even the school, I think we had scarred up one of the school floors with our voting machine because one of the wheels, something had happened to the wheels, and we offered to the school system to pay, but luck would have it that they were going to redo their floors anyway in the gym that year, so we didn't. But we are very responsible because we appreciate the people in the community letting us use their facilities. We do pay. It's whatever the board or whatever the people vote on or what we pay to use the facilities. It will be the Monday before the election. Ashley is our machine technician. She will deliver the voting equipment and all the supplies to the church. And on Monday night before Election Day, my precinct officials will need to come in, and they will need to set up here or in this particular area the voting enclosure, which would be the chairs, the tables. And did I say we'd bring chairs? Tables. We didn't talk that far, did we? Yeah, we're going to use the round table. That's correct. That's right. We would bring whatever that we would need, our laptops, and we would bring what we would need on our end to hold it in here, as well as the voting equipment. Sonny and I had gone through and gone out one of these doors with a canopy on it. I think it's this one for the early voting. For the curbside voting. There is curbside voting for the elderly that come in. Because of your age or a physical disability, you are eligible to vote for curbside, and so that is an exit that we can go out, come in and out there. They would come in here and exit out here. You'd only use this side door, and everything back here would be blocked off, so no people could come around, and they're not allowed to use the restroom facilities. The public, just my precinct officials would need to use the facilities and possibly your kitchen for storing some drinks or things like that for what they have to eat lunch. But I'm telling you, did they deliver? That spaghetti was delicious. I'd have me some food delivered on the I'm telling you that. You need to have delivery over here. They'll deliver. And about parking, we'll have to work out that logistics about parking, and you have grass that you don't want us to get on. We do have a capability of roping off. We do have special signs that have been made. They're like wooden signs that we could put to direct the people. It will be a new polling site. The chief judge, does anybody know Lori McBride? She works, Lori McBride, yes. She works for the county. And the co-op extension, I think cooperative extension is where she works, yeah. And she has been a chief judge for a long time. So she is the chief judge down here. I can't remember who else is on. Sonny will work that day, so that's a good contact for us to have. But then, like I said, Ashley would come the very next day on a Wednesday. We'd clean up anything that we've put the chairs back in place, the tables back in place, everything just like it was when we got here. And then on the Wednesday, she'd have to have a contact person to let her back in so we could get back in the facility to pick up the equipment that she has dropped off on the day before or the Monday before. I'm trying to think if I missed anything about the delivery and anything like that. Okay. Do I have any questions about anything you'd like to ask me? Yes, sir.
I know it's kind of hard, but I'll rough guess. What would you say are the most amount of cars that would be
at one time.
at one time? Like 20, 50, 100?
I would say 50 maybe, 40 or 50. I would say in the morning, there's a little bit of rush. Then you'll have a lull, and then at lunchtime, you'll have a little bit of rush. The afternoon will be a lull, and then at night, you'll have a rush. So it's like 3 peak times, it'll be a rush, yes. Yep, yep. Yep. So I know there's, this part right here would have to be blocked off for the curbside. And then you have parking on the other side of the church, correct? Behind the church here, yes. How many places do you have out here? I didn't.
But I also talked to 2 churches, and I asked one of the Baptists in particular, he said he actually counted one time, there were 40 cars there.
Yeah.
They were located in St. Mary's Road, Freeway Baptist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they had about the same number of registered, if you were like a 3,000, 4,000 registered voters, I would say it would be 100 cars or more at one time. Yes, sir.
I got 2 questions.
Okay.
I know, talking about the drive-through areas, I know right now we're under construction with our sanctuary. I know there's a storage unit out there, there's a porta john out there, and then maybe, I don't know if there'll be any other materials out there, but is that gonna be a hindrance?
No, sir. No, sir. I think y'all previously had asked me that question a while ago. Yeah.
Did you ask you about the signs out front of the?
No, but I will tell you that. At a polling place, you have church on Sunday. So majority of the time, they come on a Monday, and they'll put their political signs out on Monday. They have 48 hours to get their signs up. But since you are a church, when they leave on Tuesday night, then because you have church on Wednesday night, and I don't blame you, I don't want to see them either, because we do this at my church as a polling place. The precinct officials will take the signs up and lay them either down or beside the building or somewhere so it can't be seen. If you see one that's already up here on a Sunday, that you come to church before the election, you can just remove it and put it to the side here. And then when my precinct officials come on Monday set up, we'll just ask them to put them back out. I have a good working relationship with both the Democrats and the Republicans, and both of the party chairs know that when churches use the facility, we need to do all we can to make sure that you're not favoring one candidate over the other. And I get that. So that's why we try to do all that we can.
Are the signs physically placed on the church property?
We can, no. Well, yes. Well, they don't tell me where they're going to put them.
But you know we have always had to observe that 50-foot line.
Yes, so it'll be 50 feet right out that door in like a semicircle where they can put their political signs. So I don't know how far is it from here to the street? Is it 50 feet?
I suppose it might not even be 50.
Just have to take the measurement with
Yeah. It'd be 50 feet, yeah. So they would put it right there at the edge of the property. Now, since this is a polling place, I doubt they'll be in front of the church. You know, they'll be just in this. If they are in front of the church, we can just move them and put them in front here, just this part right here that we have. We do have no campaigning signs past this point, so it could be that we could send extra signs. So we could put no campaigning in front of the church, so they'll know not to put the signs. But that would be when we deliver the equipment on Monday.
We need to clear the room for you on Sunday.
Clear this room. We would like to use your round tables for voting. we will probably, how many of those 8-foot tables do you have like over there, Sonny, on the wall?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, you got, yeah, yeah. We would use those as, and I visual them coming in and coming around, and wherever you have your plugs at, is there a plug on the outside wall? I mean, right there, there's a machine can go right there in those lights, Ashley. I think there's a, yeah. But I see they're coming in, and you'd set up 2 stations, which would be your check-in station, you have a ballot station, you have a help desk station. So, and then your voting would be in the middle with this table and chairs right here, with the tabletop voting booth. We wouldn't bring stand-up here. Don't you think you just did it, that would be all we needed, yeah. So we would need, and these chairs, like what you have right here, we could just stack them up on top, but we would need some of these chairs for us to sit in and work at our tables. And for what you have out there, like working on election day. Mm-hmm. Yep.
On liability, it would just be this building itself is covered, right?
Correct.
So we probably need to make sure the church is secure. You'd be wandering over there looking around, construction going on and everything.
I mean, if you'd be glad to rope things off that we can't drive through or get through, that's fine.
Well, if it covered, I know the liability we're talking about in here, what about with the drive-by voting?
Well, if somebody should fall on the out, and we have had that. We've had a man, it was at Meta Fire Department, Micro Fire Department. I did say Meta, didn't I? I meant Micro Fire Department. I can't remember what he did, but he fell over the, what you call them? Yes, and hit his head, yes. We had to call it ambulance and anything else. So we reached out to him and talked to him several times, and nothing ever came. He didn't threaten to sue anybody or anything else. But anything, if a precinct official gets hurt or a voter gets hurt on the outside or the inside, the county would help lead that person how to file something. It wouldn't be filed against the church. Have I missed anything, Sonny?
Why did the fire department, why don't we quit using the fire department out of curiosity?
Well, it was an older fire department at the time. The new one wasn't built yet. And did you vote in the back, Tommy? Did North vote in the back and South vote in the front? Yes, in the back and one voted in front. And that building was just too old. And the front had no heat, no air. I mean, that's why we moved it out.
When we had both North and South Meadow, or the 2 precincts were
Yes.
consolidated, the front was used and the fire trucks were actually
Pulled out.
Monday night. And, North Meadow occupied the back end of the fire station.
It was just sort of not a good, clean facility to use because it was very old. How long have you had your fire department here? How long? I mean, the new building.
Well, the unit's probably been there at least 20 years, 15, 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The add-on, it's just an add-on, is what it was.
How big they have a meeting room on the inside?
Yes.
They do. We try to stay away from fire departments because their meeting rooms are not big enough to hold the people that'll come in, plus the fact we had to set up our equipment the day before, and a lot of fire departments don't want you in, they want you set up in the bays, and I get it, they don't want their fire trucks out in the elements for us to do that. So if we use a fire department, my people have to get there by 4:45 to set up the day of the election because we can't get in the day before. So I try to stay away from some of the fire departments because of that reason. We use the Micro Fire Department because there's not many people registered in Micro. And I need to look back, and I'll let you know, Sonny, tomorrow, exactly how many people voted during the 2020 presidential election, the 2020, and that can give you about a guess of how many people will come through. If I had to guess, I would guess for the primary, you'd have less than 500 people come through here. If I had to guess for the presidential, you may have close to 800 people travel through here. Sure.
lets people know about our church.
Yep, you can have anything out, we just can't allow to do it. Anything that you leave out will be fine.
Okay, so if it's left out, then, I mean, we don't have to clear that out or anything.
No,
We can do
no, that's correct.
that. And that sign says you can take one.
Take one, will be fine. Yes, yeah, take one will be fine. We have a lot of, in fact, one of the churches, it's 3C, but it's not, it's Hope Front now. I can't remember what, it must have been when we had them in May. They set up a little thing on the outside and they gave free water to everybody who came in. I think around the water had some information about their church. I can't remember exactly what it was, and that's doable too. Yeah. Yeah. You just have to make sure you give it to everybody and not just give it to a Democrat or Republican. Yeah, make free to both sides. Yeah, yeah. And one thing I'll say about a party election is y'all probably know, but you would be surprised the people that's registered unaffiliated that doesn't know what that means. And what that means, I call them special people because they get a choice of a ballot, either a Democrat ballot, a Republican ballot. They get to choose a libertarian ballot or a nonpartisan ballot. So they get 4 choices of what they want to choose. And you'd be surprised in a primary election how many people do not know what they're registered. They'll come in and say that they may be registered Democrat, but they swore that they have never been registered Democrat, that they want a Republican ballot. And that's where your provisional comes in. You do not want to turn them away. You say, well, if you'll step right on over here, we'll offer you a provisional ballot so you can vote. I told the story, I think I told you a story about the choir lady, the lady at my church. I don't think she knew it was me on the telephone. So she called and she gave her name, but I'd have recognized her anyway. I sang right beside her alto. So she said, look at here, your records are wrong. I said, I beg your pardon? She said, I ain't never been a Democrat in my life. I want that. I think it was when Steve Bizzle, the sheriff, was running, and that's who she wanted to vote for. And I said, I'm sorry, you are registered Democrat. I don't believe it, I don't believe it, and I'm not voting. I said, well, you can vote a provisional, and then the board can decide whether your vote is counted or not. And she said a whole lot of other things that were not nice to me, and I told her, have a good day. So I got on that computer, I looked it up, I printed it out. She had been a Democrat since 1960-something. So I copied it off, I put it in the mail, and I mailed it to her. And then I sang right beside her, hey, how are you? La, la. I thought, I know something you don't know. Yeah. So I had told that I thought that's one of the things. She was a very educated woman, but that's when you can't deny anybody their right to vote unless they're not a citizen. That's the only time you can turn somebody away. So, but that is a story that lets you. It's sad in a way that people don't take the time to educate themselves on not. I don't like politics. I just love working elections. If the propaganda and all that stuff was out of it, it would make my life a whole lot easier. But it's there, and we have to deal with it. But I do love elections. I do love my job. I cannot imagine doing anything else but this. You're about to be half crazy to do it, to tell you the truth. It gets in your system, and it's just something that I don't know. It's like it's like you're helping people. You're giving back to your community. You're doing things, and a lot of people. In fact, I had a man come in my office. I get it. If you do not work at elections office, you do not think that things are honest and fair. But if you work in elections, and if you're a precinct official and you do those things, you know, it's like my daughter says, Mama, you ain't got sense enough to taint an election. I said, you got that right, I do not. So I can honestly tell you, in the state of North Carolina, there are so many checks and balances that we have to do to make sure that our ballots are counted. If you send 1,000 ballots down here to the Meta precinct and 500 voted, I better see 500 ballots back in my office. If you don't equal what you bring back to me as 1,000, you're gonna be answering some questions. There's just a lot of things. I had a man come in that tried to tell me that I had some things in my voting system that was from China. He asked me all kinds of things. Those type of things, I don't know that. The equipment that we use has been certified by the State Board of Elections, and we have to do what's governed by them. So there's a lot of things, misinformation out there about elections. But I will tell you that my boss is I have 5 board members. I have 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, but I think it's fixing to change, coming up with some law that we're going to have 2 and 2. I've never had any trouble with my board, even though they're different political parties and they're there to represent their party. When they get in a meeting, they are representing the citizens of Johnston County. That does not happen throughout there are some counties that their board of elections, they can't stand each other, and therefore it makes it very bad for the director. You can't get anything done. But here in Johnston County, I have a board that wants to do what's right for the citizens and make it easier for everybody to have a happy process in voting process. So I have any more questions?
Do you still need volunteers?
I do need volunteers. I do. I don't know what Lori has got off the top of my head. I can't remember, but I may need one in Meadow. I do need them. Benson is full. I can't think off the top of my head what precinct. The Pleasant Grove area needs precinct officials. Clayton needs them, yes. So I am in need. We did bring some voter registration forms in case you're not registered and want to get registered, or if you want to change your party. I think like Beth, she came in and got 2, one for her, one for her husband. We have got information about how to become a precinct official. And what else do you have? Precinct official applications, yes, that will leave, so you can have that, yeah. One more, you may need one more. I think she's on I got a group bad list and good list, and I think she's on the bad list that she needs people, yes. Yep. Mhm.
It used to be some years ago when I was, doing the elections that, if you, talking about unaffiliated, if you vote for that particular, the ballot that you have, to vote that same party in the general election, is that,
No, you have to vote the same party in the second primary. Yeah, in the second primary you do, but in the general election, it'll have all of them, a D and a R or an L under it, yeah. Libertarian, yeah, yep. Yep. And our school board is different now. You have to file for office in the district. There's 7 districts. Even though you still vote countywide, if you want to run in a school board, you have to live in that district. So there's 7 districts, and I think we've got districts 4, 7, I can't remember, there's 4 districts that's up for re-election, isn't it? 3, 4, 6, and 7, yeah, that's up. And that will probably be one of the items that will be a hot ticket, because it's only vote for one. So whatever the vote for one, the 2 top vote getters will go on the ballot in November, but it is a countywide vote. Okay, if I don't have any more questions, I appreciate yes, sir. That's okay.
Can you just explain a little bit more about the benefits of doing it here over at the school?
Yes.
Doing it at the school, why it's more beneficial for it to be here rather, or why you're pursuing it, I guess. I would imagine you pursue it because it's more beneficial, so.
Yes.
Kind of elaborate a little bit more on why it's more beneficial to do it here as opposed to the school.
Okay, I can do that. It is more beneficial here. Number one, we cannot always count on the school system to close the school during the voting process. We can go in front of the calendar committee and ask them will you please close the schools for election day? And you may get it or you may not get it. Somehow or another, they did it in November, but did not decide to do it in March until about 2 weeks ago. It went in front of their board, and their board decided to do it. Another thing is, I want to say more homey. They have, you'll have restrooms here, you have a kitchen, you have electricity. In the gymnasium, we're limited to the plugs, the outlets. Sometimes we have to run a cord, maybe one, I think it's in Clayton. We have to have like 100-foot power cord that we have to drape across, and we have to tape it down. So there's not slick floors. We had a problem in one of our precincts when it was wet, that in the gym, that people were slipping and sliding. So we had to go out during election day and buy mats to put in the gym for the people to walk on. Yes. And if you want mats in a walk-in place here, we might could do that also. And the curbside, yes, and the curbside, there is a a call bell that rings, and you can hear it here. If you're in a gymnasium, the signal does not go through the building, so somebody has to actually sit out there or keep looking every single second to see if someone comes up to vote.
And then for the community, I guess, will be
And it's better for the community. Well, I'm sorry.
some of the benefits for the community for it being here as opposed to the school.
What are the benefits? Or you tell me it is a benefit? But you ask, yeah, it is, to me, it is a benefit. It gets your church exposure. And most of the churches look at it like that. Like you said, they leave some sort of stuff out for people to see about it. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Thank y'all very much for having me. And that spaghetti was absolutely delicious.
All right, well, let's give Ms. Leanne and Ashley thank you for coming. All right, so they're going to have they're going to email Sunny the agreement for the church, and so we'll have that printed out and available for you on Sunday. So we'll be handing those out after the service. We'll just and all the visitors leave. We'll just say, hey, we're going to have a business meeting real quick. We'll quickly, of course, call to order, ask if anyone has any quick questions, see if we can answer. After discussion, then we'll move to vote on that. After which case, if the church agrees to it, then the deacons will be the ones signing it as they act as the trustees for the church, and then the church will move forward from there. Yes?
I was gonna ask, are you gonna put it out the column post?
Yes.
As a reminder?
Yeah, I'll send out a call and post reminding everybody. So, any other questions? All right, well, so at this time we can split up into our men's group and our women's group. Again, just want to remind everybody as well, Saturday, remember to meet here at 8:30 or Tommy's house, because we're going to be helping him get rid of some trees, some dead trees that have fallen after the storm. So again, 8:30. If you know where he lives, meet at his house. If you don't know, here at the church. If you have an axe or a chainsaw, please bring it, as well as gloves. All right, let's split up into the. Well, actually, why don't we just have one big group? We'll just have one big group and just kind of finish up for our time. And again, there's still plenty of spaghetti. If you want to make plates and take it with you, or take it to someone who you think might need it, let's do it. So, thank you, everyone.